Welcome to 3-week workshop on programming in C++. In this video, I'm going to explain the concept of programming paradigm. So programming paradigm is the base for any programming languages. So first of all, we must to know what is paradigm. So paradigm is a method or approach we are followed to solve any kind of problem. It's called as the paradigm. So if you are saying a programming paradigm, so here the topic is the programming paradigm. So the method means by using any kind of programming languages, we are trying to implement the approach or the method for solving any kind of problem. Then it will be called as programming paradigm. So normally there are two types of paradigms will be followed. It may be one is a imperative or second one is a declarative. If you are saying the method is a imperative, that means the imperative programming paradigm, it means that we as a programmer or the program will instruct the computer to to instruct the computer to change its states. It means that we are the programmer instruct when to perform some different kind of calculation by specifying the different kind of functionalities. It means that we are going to write a code and ask the computer to perform their operation based on the instruction given by the programmer. So that's what we are mentioned as to change its states. The change its state means that the values of the values will be changed according to the functionalities which is defined by the programmer. So the imperative statement and the next one is a declarative. So normally for this declarative method, so we doesn't know how to compute it, but we are going to define the exact output of the results. And so the machine learning is coming under the concept of declaratives. Okay. So now come back to the imperative statement. So in an imperative statement, there are two types of imperative method we are followed. One is procedure-oriented. Second one is object-oriented. I will repeat once again. The paradigm is classified into two types. One is imperative paradigm. Second one is a declarative paradigm. In an imperative paradigm, we are instruct the computer, means we are also define the instruction based on our needs and ask the computer to follow it. So second one is declarative paradigm. So in this paradigm, we know what is the output. So we don't know how to exactly compute it. So based on the functionality or logical or maybe a mathematical, we are defining. So now we have come to the imperative. Actually, imperative is the majorest part of your programming development. So one is a procedure-oriented programming paradigm. Second one is object-oriented programming paradigm. So if you are, let us take a concept of programming, the procedure-oriented paradigm. If you are, if the user looking for only the particular set task, means that in a procedure-oriented paradigm method, we are also looking for the set of functionalities which is associated with it. So that means that it is additional functionalities which is identified by the developer and it is included as a part of the program. So, and in a procedure-oriented, we are always given the only importance for functionality rather than the data. That means that we are not looking for the values. We are always looking for the functionalities. And here in procedure-oriented, no security is possible. Means only it provides no security. Means it's a less security is possible for implementation of informations. I will repeat once again. So in a procedure-oriented method, so if you are developing any particular kind of a task, we are looking, we are developing an application, we are looking for some additional functionalities, and those additional functionalities must be included in the project even though the customer is not clear. For a simple example, let us take, I want to develop one student application for finding the total mark of the 3 subjects. So you are the developer, assume you are the developer, now you are trying to implement the functionality. We know that the user requirement is, we want to find the total of the given marks. So that is the functionality. But as the developer, what you need to do is, you need to add additional functionalities even though the customer is not expert. For example, you are trying to calculate the average of the given marks. So this is the additional functionality. We know that this is the functionality which is associated with our application, but the customer is not required. And in the procedure-oriented method, we are always given a priority for functionalities rather than for a data. And here less number of security is there for a data, either in the form of global variable or maybe in the form of local variables. So here in this procedure-oriented method, so that the cost for the development and the time for the development is high, because so if you are for example, if you are for example, if you are considering one application, means application development, so you are looking for some additional functionality also. For example, assume the task will take 10 minutes to 10 days to complete your projects. Means complete a project, but actually the customer requirements is completed within 8 days itself. Means the completed within 8 days itself. But if you are looking for some additional functionality, even though those additional functionalities is not expected by the customer. So in this situation, the customer means that, but if you are a customer, I mean, this you are spending another 2 more days and try to add those additional functionalities in the project. So that we are spending more extra 2 days for the development, and we need to spend some amount of money for the employee those work for those 2 extra days. So maybe we can allocate these 2 members, these 2 days with, these members of this project for the summer team, so that the development cost and the project cost may be reduced if you go with only the required functionalities. But if you are concentrating on procedure oriented, the development cost and the cost for the development cost and the time for the development may be increased. Because if the customer is looking for the same additional functionality in the future, if they are asking a queries that these functionalities are missing, then simply we can show the SRS and say that this is the requirement is given by you. Then if that additional functionalities if you want to add, then we can give the request to the customer to give us some extra amount amount payment for development. So nowadays, the industry is not looking for procedure oriented, they are looking for object oriented method. So in this object oriented method, so we are looking only for customer requirements, and here they are given only important for the data, not rather than for the functionalities. So here this is the major objectives of object oriented programming. So the first one is always we are thinking only for the real world problem. It means that if what the customer is expected, only those functionalities are implemented in our projects. Means that we are not looking for additional functionalities. And next one is always we are interact with the customer and we are trying to identify only the major and its expected requirement. And next one is, even though if you are developed this particular application, it may be reused for in the future for some other applications. And even easy to, always you are developed by using this object-oriented methodology, we can easy to modify and extending as a component. So if you are following the concept of object-oriented method, at the end of the project and at the end of the development, it will be called as component. So component is providing all the major tasks related to the particular application. If you want, it can be reusable. So like that, it will be it will be developed. For example, we can easy to understand the simple application of object-oriented method. If for example, if you want to log in into the Google Classroom, if you want to log in, if you want to join in the Google Classroom, simply just by using Gmail account, here register. Say next one. For example, if you want to join in, if you want to join in some other applications, like if you know that GitHub, yes, GitHub. So by using a Gmail account, we can able to link it. It is called reusability. So here, by using a Gmail account, simply we are joining in the GitHub. So like that. Means that this is we called as a Gmail account is a reusable product. So simply we reused. Same way, if you are go with maybe that is called net banking. If you are selecting net banking, and just you are give the linking to the net banking application. So whenever if you want to transaction anything, automatically the control will be transferred to the corresponding website, web page of that particular bank, and it will perform everything. The transaction is performed. Then again, it means that the final result will be forwarded to our account, and automatically they are processed by the particular application. So these are the some of the applications which is developed by using object-oriented programming. So by using this because of this object-oriented, sorry, uh, because of this object-oriented method, just a minute. So there are two major features we applied. One is the development cost will be reduced because we are only for modeling the real world problem, and the next one is reduced development cost will be reduced, and the next one is the development time also will be reduced. So, and the third one is this object-oriented methodology provides the concept of reusability. So these are the three main advantages of object-oriented programming. Even we have to add in here, it provides extra. That means that extra security principles in the form of access modifiers. And next one is focusing on the data, not functions. These are some of the advantages of object-oriented method. And nowadays all the industry are following, means try to follow the concept of object-oriented methodology rather than procedure-oriented. The reason is if not developed based on the reusability concept, and there is no less type of a security we have. So the data hiding is not properly implemented. We are implemented in the form of only the local variable and as well as global variable. But here we are implemented extra security by adding access modifiers. So next one is then the development function in our procedure oriented. But in object oriented, we mainly focus on data. So this is the basic things about object-oriented programming paradigm. So so from that, what we understand that we are always follow object-oriented paradigm methodology for the development of any type of application. Thank you.